So have you been wanting to start your photography business? Maybe you got a new camera and you're like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I could start charging money for it, but you're not really sure of what all is involved. And in this video, I'm sharing the reality of being a new photographer, and it's not just snapping photos. Hi, my name is Katie. I'm a brand photographer based in Dallas, Texas, and I help newer photographers turn their passion into profits so that you don't just have an expensive hobby. What's it like being a new photographer who's just getting started in business? Well, it can turn into a lot of things, but in this video, top 3 things that a new photographer should really think about as they start their business. Number 1 is it is really more than just taking the photos, because once you take the photos, you also have to what's called cull through the photos, which means you look for all the good ones, you take out all the ones like blinks and blurry and out of focus and all of that, and then you still have to edit the photos. And one of the number 1 mistakes that newer photographers make is that they spend a lot of time trying to figure out what their style is and what editing techniques they like, and they change it from photo shoot to photo shoot as they practice, as they get better. And the photographer that started out is no longer the photographer who's now asking for money. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I would advise that if you're a newer photographer and you're still practicing, you're still like figuring out how to use your camera, how to pose people, how to get the right expressions from people, that when you go in to edit your photos, you find your style and stick to it. I know how fun it is to see what you can do with photos inside of an editing program like Lightroom or Photoshop, but here's the thing, is that the longer you take to edit, the longer it takes to return photos back to your future clients, and that will determine their experience with you. All that to say, find your editing style as soon as possible. And I know it's tempting to try everything out, but you will land on something that you will like, and your clients are going to hire you for that style as well. Another reality of being a newer photographer who's just getting started in business is finding clients. How do you find them? Where do you find them? How do you get them to pay you, right? I mean, you started a photography business so that you could make money, so you want to find clients who are willing to pay you. So where do you find these clients? Well, my biggest piece of advice would be to start practicing, okay? You don't want to ask for money if you're not quite confident in what you're doing. So I would recommend to do lots of photo shoots, get a lot of practice under your belt, and once you feel like you know what you're doing, you can pose the people in the picture, you know what lighting looks good, you know how to edit them, and you can do it with confidence without second guessing yourself or having to look up on YouTube how to do something. That's when you can start asking for money. Maybe you've asked your friends and family if you can take their photos, if you can practice on them, and you're like, but now how do I find actual clients? Well, if those friends and family take the photos and they like them and they share them with their friends, that's going to be one of your first referral sources that maybe new clients can come to you for. When somebody asks your friend or family, hey, do you know a photographer who can take our family photos for our holiday picture? They're going to think of you. Or if those friends and family share your photos on, say, like Facebook or other social media outlet, and their friends see it, they might say, hey, who took those pictures? I'd love to get pictures of my kid, of my family, of, me and my fiance, whatever. Those are going to be your best and closest referral sources and places where you can find clients. From there, what can happen is that those friends of friends or friends of family will have other friends that you don't know, and they will refer to you if you provide them with a good service, with good photos, and they're happy with them, right? We want them to have a good experience so that when they talk about you, when you're not there, they have good things to say, they sing your praises, and they recommend you to all their friends and family. Now, of course, that's probably not as easy as it sounds, but with practice, with having people in front of your camera, with them sharing your photos, that can start to snowball, and that will create and build momentum in your business. Now, the last thing that newer photographers need to think about as it comes to starting a photography business that maybe they don't think about at the beginning, like this is the real of what it's like to run a business, is to run the business like a business. It's not just an expensive hobby. So what does that mean? That means that you should have a business bank account. You should keep your business money separate from your personal money. So any money that's coming in from photo shoots, you need to put it in its own account. You need to save for taxes. You need to have a workflow. And I know it's a lot, but when you have systems in place, you'll have a really smooth workflow to take your clients through that will lead them from initial inquiry, which means like when they contact you for a photo shoot, to booking them, to collecting their money, to having the actual photo shoot and delivering the photos at the end of it, so that they, you can take them through a really smooth process, a really easy process, something that they're like, oh man, that was so easy. Next time you need to go work with them for your family photos, for your newborn photos, for whatever photos, because the experience was so good from start to finish. Now I know most photographers, newer photographers, don't really think about that part of it. It takes a while to figure out what we're going to take our clients from A to Z. Now, I know when I first started out, I didn't know what I was doing. I think none of us do. Like, we just kind of figure it out on the fly. And as you keep going, as you book more clients, you kind of figure out, okay, I don't need to do that anymore, or yes, I should do that better, or I need to answer these questions, or I need to send this message to my client so that we're all on the same page. It's really important to establish a workflow and to have that business running like a business, not just like a hobby. You need to take your business seriously so that your clients take you seriously, so that they don't feel nervous, they feel very comfortable making a business transaction with you, because you're a business, you're not just their friend's friend who happens to take photos on the side. So to sum that back up, the reality of being a new photographer is that there's so many different things that you need to be thinking about, that you need to figure out your editing style, you need to figure out how to work your camera, how to take good photos, how to edit them, and then you also need to figure out how to find clients. How do you find those clients? How are they going to pay you? How are they going to find out about you? How are they going to book you? And finally, also running your business like a business, not just an expensive hobby. And I know there's so many steps, and if I were to go through all those steps right now in this video, you'd be bored. You'd be like, wait a minute, no, this is too much. However, I hope that was helpful to just kind of give you the realities of what it's like to be a newer photographer. If you're serious about starting a photography business, well, good news for you, because I have an actionable plan, the step-by-step of how to do it all. I have a 21-day guide of how to set up your photography business so that you can take it from an idea to an actual business and start booking clients right away. So if you're interested in that, it's down in the description below. If you're like, hey, just give me the checklist, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, I got a checklist for you too, totally free. And I hope you'll join me in the next video.